for the love of God, can we stop suing each other? Like, seriously. I feel like every month and every quarter I can log online or I can go to a trade publication. All I'm reading about is this company is mad at this company and they're suing. And what are they suing for? Trade secrets? Come on, get out of here. You're suing because your feelings are hurt. You're suing because you're throwing a temper tantrum. You're suing because you lost. I'm tired of it. And today, John and I, we're going to talk about it pretty openly, pretty passionately, the world according to DO and JC based on our experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus. You are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
Yo, what's popping today?
What's top popping today? Every day. Every day. I'm going to tell you what's popping.
Okay.
Right? Another request to go somewhere fun to speak.
Where?
Can't wait.
Where?
Where?
Yeah, where's this?
We're going to go speak in Nashville.
Trash.
In October.
Trash.
For our buddies over at AIM. That's going to be pretty
AIM's
awesome.
cool. I fucks with AIM, but
right?
Nashville's terrible.
We're going to Vegas in June. Mastermind Summit 2025.
Oh, yeah. When
we're doing Iowa.
Hey, let's bake in.
We're doing Michigan.
Trash.
We're doing Texas.
Let's make sure we bake in like a recovery day and then an extra day, have fun in Vegas, because usually we're always like in and out. Let's bake in like an extra day, please.
You can bake in an extra day. I don't know what my schedule's like. Here's my problem with Vegas, Sean. My problem is
landing there.
There's only so many days that I can take that city.
Of course, yeah, but I know. But if we have an extra day, we can explore outside the city, go to like the canyons and stuff like that. So we're not like rushed.
Maybe.
Probably not. I mean,
maybe. I like that idea.
We say that until we get to Vegas, and you and I will wake up on the last day and be like, "Yo, you trying to get out of here early?" Yeah.
Yes.
First class ticket. That's all they had available. Book it.
Book it. Yes. Yeah. The number of times that we've traveled to a conference and we're like, you know what?
Yeah, we could probably leave right now.
Yeah, we can probably leave right now.
We're not scheduled. We're scheduled to stay for another 3 days, but why don't we just call it quits?
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I mean, we're filling up our boot camps. I'm going to have to turn it off because I don't want to be teaching in the two main summer months of June and July. So, whatever we filled right now, boot camp wise, anyone else interested is going to have to wait for the fall semester, which will kick off the week of Labor Day.
Okay, is
when we'll end up kicking that off. Our coaching memberships are just skyrocketing.
Look at this, Dustin.
Doc Stacy is doing her thing. Yeah. Rebecca Richardson's crushing it. You know what? The coaches and I are putting together a retreat. Our first ever. This is our next iteration.
Oh shit!
Where we're gonna get together for 2 days and 2 nights, and hold hands, kumbaya, all of that. But we're gonna do a coaches retreat this summer. So that's something that we're gonna be traveling out to do. It's just a good time to be us.
What a time
honestly.
To be alive for a T-lopper. What
us.
A time to be a T-lopper, Dustin.
Yeah, you know what's not a good time?
To be sued if you're a mortgage company.
To get a freaking subpoena. Like, it usually starts with a cease and desist letter, and they ain't fun, right? But a cease and desist letter is like, shot across the bow, hey, you hurt my feelings, hey, this is your warning, right? But it's like when you get a subpoena because somebody's suing you, it's like WTF.
Have you ever gotten a letter in the mail to have you be like jury duty or something?
Yes.
I've never gotten one.
Now that you've put it out there, guess what's coming?
Racist comments out of my mouth when they call me in to interview me about like, hey, are you? I'm like, nope. Hate everybody. I'm actually high right now on PCP and drugs. Yeah, show me the defendant. I'll get out of that shit real quick. Because once you get like subpoenaed and then you gotta like go for a murder trial for like 10 years and they pay you like 10 cents a day. The fuck?
Yeah. So that's true story, and this is gonna be like the catalyst of today's episode. Is I was actually subpoenaed to be a witness.
Whoa.
Witness,
I'm going to
John.
edit this. I was subpoenaed because I stole from the bank. Yeah.
I was subpoenaed, and I won't get into the details. It's not fair to either party for me to get into the details.
Well, you're not allowed to. Are you allowed? Can you even have this? Isn't your litigation being like, withheld? Aren't you?
No, because the reason why I'm choosing today to actually get on the soapbox of DO and speak to the world is because both parties settled. Which normally that's probably a good business decision when parties settle.
I want to drag it out and embarrass you on court TV, Dustin.
Well, it pissed me off because I was prepared to be a badass witness.
Did you buy a new suit? Do you everything? Like, I'm going to wear this on the stage?
No, I hadn't gone as far as like picking out my outfit. Like, I hadn't really thought that through yet. I probably wouldn't have gone full suit because I wouldn't have been a try-hard.
Is this like a deposition? Like, you really get up there as a judge with a gavel? Or are you sitting up there like a gavel? Or are you sitting there like in a subpoena where like you have
well,
three
I
cameras?
was supposed to be in federal court.
What?
And I'm assuming there's going to be a jury.
So the next person up is fucking Pablo Escobar for trafficking drugs, and you're sitting there right up. Oh.
You know what? I was fair warned that if there was a criminal case before this case, because I'm trying to, like, it's a 3-hour drive for me to get to Tampa.
I know. What happened?
So for me to, it used to be an hour and a half.
What happened? It's the same I-4 corridor, but now it takes like 3.5.
It's called People Want to Move to Florida.
Fuck.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
So anyhow, move away.
Yeah.
Leave.
Yeah. Get out.
Don't come.
Yeah.
Anyhow. So yeah, I was gonna have to drive 3 hours there.
Yeah.
3 hours back. Probably they were telling me this could be. I'm like, what, 20 minutes? I'm like, how hard is it? I got to show up. I got to tell the truth to the best of my memory on shit that happened 5 years ago.
I swear.
5 years ago.
I swear.
But no, in cases like this, it's like, you typically get deposed, and then based on how the deposition went, now you may get called as a witness. Before you get deposed, you may have like deposition prep. Right, so like you think about like when one company gets their feelings hurt and they want to sue another company, which, by the way, I'm not saying that's in the world what happens. I'm sure there's companies out there that do some ill will, wrong, hurtful shit, and they need to get sued. But I'm speaking from my industry, the one that I know, where I am a shmee. I will tell you, without having any super deep details, but knowing enough and following the patterns, most times the lawsuits that we're seeing in the mortgage industry, this company is suing this company. They're suing because they lost and they got their feelings hurt, right? A group of originators left their company to go work for another company. Mm-hmm. And you can do a Google search and you can see the dozen lawsuits that have been filed over the past probably 7 years with one mortgage company getting their feelings hurt that another one. In fact, sometimes it's like one mortgage company is like company X is suing company Y. But then all of a sudden, 2 years later, company Y is suing company Z for all the same shit. And I'm here to literally myth bust, dispel. Anyone who wants to sue over trade secrets, any attorney who wants to tune in, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I think it's straight up bullshit. Literally bullshit to think that you can sue one company over another company over trade secrets. I'm sure you could sue over breach of contract. I'm sure there's some debate over confidentiality, or there's some debate over things like, what would non-solicits, right? And I'm not a labor attorney. Never care to be, don't want to be. And I myself want to do everything I can to never get subpoenaed, except for as a witness, which is what I was getting subpoenaed for, was as a witness. But some of the language that's being used as it's being reported in the national news, right? I'm not talking about anything that it can't be read online. I'm just wanting to talk a little bit about how it's BS, because when I had to go through deposition prep, then get deposed, then you do witness prep, then you get ready. I was ready for that trial, man. I was ready for this attorney to come at me and this attorney to come at me.
Just because you watch court TV and a little bit of Judge Judy, you think you're going to go up there and be like, ha, withheld.
Not me, but I was ready. Yes, I was ready to speak as Dustin Owen CMB. As Dustin Owen,
sustained
20 years.
If I would ever go to court and I was like a witness, I would leave that place in handcuffs. I would go in that bitch a free man, and then by the end they'd be like, not only are you getting
contempt,
everything
for contempt,
I'd be like, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit. Don't talk to me like that. Fuck you, judge. Put him in handcuffs, bailiff. That would be me 100%, because it's all a facade. You know what's worse than salespeople? You know what's worse than salespeople? Lawyers. But before we do that, since Dustin is clearly getting sued out the ass, let's take this time to thank our sponsors.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends over at Experience.com. Experience.com is the world's first search engine optimization platform. In a day and age that we live in, where reputation management and online reviews is a key to our future success, Experience.com is where I and my loan officers go so that we can properly manage our client's experience and ask them to give us reviews and testimonials. Experience.com, transform customer interactions into business wins. And we're back.
Yeah, so who else is getting sued in the mortgage industry? Like, give me names.
I'm not going to use names. Use your Google machine. Get out your Google machine and Google it.
Okay, so I'll just make up. So let's say Quicken Loans has sued Guaranteed Rate.
I have no idea, John.
Well, it's on the internet and it's video, so it must be true. So people from Guaranteed Rate left and they want to go to this mortgage company. Mortgage company A got mad that the people left, so they decide to sue them for just like, I don't like what you did.
So let's walk through this. I mean, it's anytime a branch manager or a loan originator is leaving company A to go to company B, right? And they have a good mortgage coach in their corner, like their business coach would tell them, like pretty simply put, if you have loans in process, right? I mean, do you have like trigger disclosures locked in? You got a closing date? Mm-hmm. That stays with your employer. That's theirs. That's their loan. That's their business, right? You let your referral partner know. You let the client know, hey, look, I'm moving on with my career. I've accepted an opportunity elsewhere, but so-and-so is going to be your main point of contact, and they'll see to it that your loan closes. Okay, all well and good. Mm-hmm. Now, if that loan gets denied by that company,
whoa,
okay, and the client reaches out to that loan originator who has now left,
fair game.
I believe it's fair game. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a judge, but I'm going to tell you just common sense says, well, you deny the loan, you shouldn't get mad if that loan walks out the door.
Correct.
Okay. So that's the first thing. Now, if you have a borrower who reached out to you, we call them borrowers in the mortgage industry, but let's say a prospective client, someone who's inquiring about home loan finance, and maybe you took their information, you gave them some feedback, maybe even issued a pre-approval letter. Okay. That person, that's a free will, I live in America, I get to make my own damn decisions person. That person is not obligated to use that loan originator, that company, or any one particular mortgage company. Mm-hmm. So if and when that person reaches out to the departing originator because they have their cell phone and says, hey, bro, I appreciate all the advice you gave me and all of your time. Wifey and I are looking to purchase a home finally. I tried to reach you at your old company, but you weren't there. Can you help me?
Of course I can.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't the Equal Credit Opportunity Act prevent me from saying yes to that conversation? Yes, I can help you. Right? Like they don't have any allegiance to my previous employer or the previous employer. So like there's definitely right ways and wrong ways to do things. Now, most mortgage professionals probably have some kind of a non-solicit, right? Unless they're like me and I had negotiated to have my non-solicit carved out. Okay? But if they have a non-solicit, then there's definitely a gray area of, well, what happens when I leave and what happens if people want to follow me?
Well, I hear this story and it sounds almost like a nightmare for loan officers if they're successful and they want to leave to another establishment. It seems like too much red tape to where like they're stuck, their hands are tied.
It should, yes. And it's a little bit like abusive. It's like almost like you want to say to like when you get these branches that are leaving, you want to say to their previous like divisional or company owner, be better, homie.
Right.
Be better than your people wouldn't have left. And we teach this. I coached this just a week ago in Kentucky. People do business with
people.
With people. So if I'm working somewhere and my people leave, that meant that my reason to show up just left.
Right.
I'm going to want to follow that person. Now, if that wasn't the people I liked and there's actually other people and they stayed, then I probably end up staying. Right? So it's like, I'm not here to debate what each mortgage company has in their agreements in terms of non-solicits. I'm not here to argue whether or not someone had to carve out their non-solicit or not. And there's also like what's assumed, right? Like what's assumed versus, what was on that legal document that, by the way, if I didn't sign it, you wouldn't let me come work here, right? That legal document that, on page 18, what did we even know what that meant? I don't know. No one could explain it to me, but they made me sign the document. So it's like you have the what's legally right and what's human right aspect, right? A group of people want to get together and they want to leave to go somewhere else because they think somewhere else is a better vehicle, right? It's a better place to work, a better place to operate their business. Like you got to think in the mortgage industry, and I coach this. People listen to us talk about this. I say you work for you, LLC. Yes, you happen to be a division of an employee of whatever company, but your clients work with you. Your referral sources work with you. Those builders work with you. I mean, I think about me. I stayed with the same financial advisor for 3 moves. I don't care what financial institution he represents. That's my dude. That's the guy that I trust. That's the guy that I confide in. That's the guy that looks out for me. And I see this happening over and over in the mortgage industry. And I was going to have to be a witness between 2 parties that were squabbling. And I was going to have to get on the witness stand and kind of try to remember what happened 5 years ago, which good luck, right? I hardly remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. And then I was going to have to explain to attorneys who don't do mortgage for a living, explain to a jury who doesn't do mortgage for a living, a judge who doesn't do mortgage for a living, the real world according to Dust to Know It. Now, if you work in a call center, like you had mentioned Quicken, which is AKA Rocket. If you work in a call center, I coach and teach. He or she that controls the lead controls the purse strings. If you work in a call center and your company is spending hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions of dollars to generate leads, that is not your business. That is not your past client. Those are not your referral sources, etc. Now, if you work in a call center and through your interactions of a call center, you did a great job for people and you have realtors that love your style, you have borrowers that have your cell phone and you leave and they track you down, I think it's a whole different story, right? That's a whole different story. But if anyone wanted to argue like that's the company's data, it would be when the company is providing the lead. But the world that I know, that I come from, that I live in, I coach and teach, no, our sales reps are highly compensated because they're going out and building the relationship with the referral source. They're then winning over the consumer, and then they're funding the loan with me. To me, that's their customer. That's their client. Now, that doesn't mean that when and if they leave that I'm not going to try to market to that realtor. I'm going to try to market to that past client, right? But I can't be offended if they too are going to do that because they went out and they built that relationship. And I recognize people do business with people.
Are there laws against this? Because it seems like, hey, there's no law, but since there's no law, I'm just going to take you to court and then we'll bitch about it and waste everybody's time and money.
Look, there is case law, but it has to be debated. It has to be. That's why it's a civil suit, not a criminal suit, right? So no one's going to jail, right? We're not talking about embezzlement. We're not talking about fraud. We're talking about contractual law. Did so-and-so cross the line or did they not? Okay, so the surface level stuff is what I just discussed. And I think that most times it's like, you could have time to time when a branch leaves company X and they go to company Y. That whole branch is going, right? You have the sales leader, you have the sales manager, the top producers, and the other loan originators. It's like they're going. And they're going because, by the way, they probably all onboarded together too. Right. But they are their own unique ecosystem. They all work together. They respect each other. They love each other. And they made a decision that the current employment or employer wasn't ideal for moving forward. Then companies sue because they get their feelings hurt.
So then we'll be like...
Which I'm so sorry. Which gets under my skin because it's like, why? What did they do? Like what did they do that you now want to punish them because they left?
So what they do, like, okay, say you lose, you have to stroke a check. Say you lose, you can't work at that company. Like, what's the outcome of all? Like, man, you get a fucking check for 50 cents. Thank you for your hard work. Like, what is the?
I don't know if we've seen any one of these actually go through.
It sounds like two lawyers get together, like, hey, I need some funds because I'm too low on the books. Let's find two mortgage companies to sue each other, and then I'll represent team A, you represent team B. We'll scuttlebutt, we'll filibuster for a couple of days, and then we'll charge both mortgage companies probably $300,000, and we'll come out of this $50,000 richer. What do you say? That's what it sounds like to me.
You know what? You could be dead on. Like, you could be dead on, John, because I just don't get it. I don't understand it. But there's some things to be said about who owns the database of past clients. There's some things to be said about who owns the referral partners. Okay, I would tell you, no mortgage company owns the referral partner. Correct. Okay, does a mortgage company want to argue over who owns the database of past clients? I'm going to let them argue that, and I'm going to talk to them about why they shouldn't argue about it. So we're getting ready to cover that. Mortgage companies, in my professional experience, you do not own the referral partner unless it's leads you're generating through your advertising spend, right? I get that. But no, if men and women are out building relationships with their local communities, those relationships are with that individual, not with your company.
Right.
If we want to squabble over a borrower, like a past client, like, oh, who do they belong to? All right, you can squabble over it, but I'm going to try to squash that squabble here in a minute. But what I really don't like is when they want to bring trade secrets into the lawsuit.
What's a trade secret, Dustin?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I believe a trade secret is this, John. John Coleman wrote this badass code.
Hell yeah.
And this badass code allows him to do something within his business at a advantage to John. And I took that code and I shared it with another company. That's a freaking trade secret, right? It's like basically theft. Like that would be a trade secret. Like what else would it be? Like I have a recipe. And it's my recipe is why my cake tastes better than any other cake, or why my cake tastes so good. And my cake can have a 30-day shelf life where every other cake gets moldy after 2 weeks.
Right.
And John was my lead chef, and John left, and he took that. That's a trade secret. Okay. Like I only know that because I actually worked there.
Right.
So trade secrets are being thrown around the way they throw beads at Mardi Gras,
right.
As if it's like, oh, yeah, this branch or this divisional or this region or this loan officer left company X and they went to company Y, and they took trade secrets.
But what happened? I'm having a hard time. So, like, I'm mad at you, Dustin, so I sue you and say I win. What do I get? A pat on the back? Do I get a lump sum of money?
Okay. The company, they typically aren't suing the originator or the branch manager. It's company X is suing company Y for damages.
Okay.
And then damages is even funnier, right? You want to get into suing for damages?
Right.
I'm like, you want to see how much the mortgage industry made in, I don't know, 22, 23, 24, 25? Like, check out what our friends over at the MBA published. They lost money. Right. So what damage? If an originator went to company Y after leaving company X and that origination group lost money, what damages? In fact, you should say thank you, right? The company suing should say thank you to the company getting sued because they actually did them a favor because they onboarded a bunch of non-profitable producers and they saved the other company a headache. But but they sue for damages, and then they have a way of saying, well, this much production walked out the door. I would have earned this much revenue and this much profit on that production, and because company Z, right, was enticing the team from company Y to leave, then they induced harm on the company, and that company is now suing for damages. That's essentially my best way of describing it. That's what they're suing for damages. What are they suing for? They're suing because their feelings are hurt. They're suing because they're sore losers and they lost. They're suing because they want to stop the bleeding. They sue so that they prevent other branches from leaving.
You want to leave too? I'm a scary. They scared straight then.
100% scare tactics. But what I want to get at is like, just be better. If you're better, your people won't want to.
I don't want to be better, Dustin. It's easier if I could just sue the shit out of you rather than looking in the mirror and swallowing the tough pill that I suck. Be
better and just replace that production that walked out with bigger, better production by attracting talent to your organization, right? Be better. But yes, why do they sue? In my opinion, it's a scare tactic. They want to disrupt. They want to. I mean, it's look. What's the saying? This isn't friendship. This is business. It's like it's business. It's just business. I'm just like, yeah, but it's a gross, ugly look. So what did I promise the people? We're going to talk about freaking why the database of clients is not worth squabbling over, and I'm going to get into trade secrets. So the first one is going to be why the database doesn't matter. Because here's why. And this is what I was excited to talk about on the stand, because this was going to come up. I was pretty confident.
You would have got on the stand.
My attorney and one of the other party's attorney is pretty confident they're going to want to ask me about a database.
No, I would have loved it because you would have been on the stand selling TLOP memberships to people of the legal counsel. That would have been awesome. Have you guys, listen, it's not just for loan originators, judge, jury,
hey,
bailiff.
You know
Check
me
out
better
my
than most.
TLOPonline.com.
You know me better than most. Okay. What I was so excited about getting on that stand and talking about a database of past clients. We're not talking about bank account numbers. Nobody wants that. You don't need it. We're not talking about social security numbers. Nobody wants that. Nobody needs it, right? We're talking about public information. Public information. Like I right now, Dustin Owen, I can call up my boy Steven over at Redder, pay him whatever his monthly fee is. I wouldn't know. Steven hooks me up. But pay him his monthly fee. And through Redder, I can pull all of the production that I would ever want to see. I can see the borrower's name. I can see the loan amount. I can see loan officer. I can then go into public record and I can actually pull up the mortgage. I can see who the lender was. I can see the note rate. I can pull their property tax bill. I then, for 10 cents per lead, I can skip trace it. That means there's a service out there that I can pay that'll give me their phone number and their email address. Okay, I don't need a past client database when I have Redder, when I have public records, when I have a skip tracing service. And you know what? I'm not going to do it myself. I'm going to find a virtual assistant who probably has their master's degree. They live in the Philippines, and I pay them $8 an hour to literally leverage this technology and scrape data. And then not only do I need or want just the loans of one particular branch and 7 particular loan officers, I can do the whole freaking company if I wanted to. Like, how is a database of past clients anything unique, new, or something that can be owned when I can, for about $5,000 in 90 days time, I can replicate and create an entire database of all of the clients that one particular mortgage company had funded. And then for an extra $200 or $300 a month, I can dump them into a service like HomeBot and literally just start marketing to them right now. I never had to work at that company to do so. I literally could have never worked at one particular company, and I can go create an entire database where I have first name, last name, who the loan officer was, email address, phone number, loan amount, interest rate. I can even pull in AVMs, and now I have an estimate of the home's value. I don't need to take that. Or if I do take that and you want to sue me for taking that, which I would never take unless I had permission. But like, what do you sue me for? $5,000? Because literally, I'm so sorry. I took something that for $5,000 I could have replicated, and it would have been better if I spent the $5,000. I'll write you a check for $5,000, but you're trying to sue for damages. It just makes no sense. So I was ready to walk the jury, the judge, and both attorneys through that, because those attorneys don't know how easy that really is with the right technology.
Objection. The witness is badgering the plaintiff. Sustained. Withheld.
How do you know I wasn't going to badger the defendant? How do you know what if I was there?
You would have gotten up there, Dustin, and you would have taken your time. This is great because I know you want to, like, for some ungodly reason, like work in Capitol Hill or something. This is going to be your bill. I'm going to call it DO's bill. And you're going to push this through Congress. You're going to pacify it through the judiciary system, and it's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. And you're going to be there with your TLOP pin on one side and your CMB pin on the other, and you're going to be advocating for the future of the mortgage industry, and this is going to be your battle cry, Dustin.
Possibly. Right now, I'm just trying to get hired on as an expert witness because I'm fired up now. I want to be, hey, if y'all need an expert witness, your boy Dio's for sale, right? But
That's illegal, Dustin.
No,
for sale.
That's
you
how
can't.
That works.
No, that's not. No, that's what we're talking about.
Compensated?
Yes, we can't do that. That's illegal.
I have my consulting fee. I'm going to become a certified expert witness in the mortgage industry.
Thank you.
Specifically for cases like this, or if you want me to talk about the FMLA, Fair Labor Standards Act.
Sorry.
Fair Labor Standards Act, and those bullshit lawsuits we can talk about those too. I'm familiar with both.
How do you know this stuff? Do you watch like C-SPAN? Is that even a station
John,
anymore?
I will tell you this. This is so funny because my wife.
Jesus, are you sure? My wife. Are you sure? Wilbur, are you sure? Okay,
yeah.
your wife.
My wife's phenomenal at what she does. She's an educator. She's a phenomenal mother to her kids. But like business isn't her jam, right? So like you get a subpoena to be a witness, and she thinks you're going to jail.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
Like, babe, I'm a witness.
Right.
Like, can I get a witness? That's me. That's me. I'm not going to jail. And by the way, this isn't even a criminal case. Like nobody's going to jail.
Hey,
nobody's going to jail.
You can be a witness when you testify as a defendant. That's a whole new show my wife watches now.
Okay, so anyhow, one thing that you asked me how do I know all of this?
Yeah.
If you're in business long enough, if you help run businesses, if you grow businesses, this is an unfortunate, ugly part of business, is having to go to court to settle disputes.
Kanye
That's
West,
essentially what you're doing, right? You're going to court. I mean, my father's was in the construction industry.
Mm-hmm.
A good friend of mine is a commercial. He's a general contractor, but like big projects.
Mm-hmm. They
They both told me that in that industry, those dudes sue each other and then hire each other for the next job. Sue each other, hire each other. Like they just, you want to talk about attorneys in a racket? Literally, they will just, instead of the two parties negotiating over who owes who what money, they just send it to their attorneys.
I'll sue you and then we'll split the cash and I'll meet you at Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's what they end up doing, right? And they talk about the next project they have to do. So it's just, you ask me, how do I know? It's the unfortunate world.
Well, we're going to know because Kanye West is about to sue us because he's going to see when he types in the life of Pablo, TLOP is going to show our website. He's going to get butthurt.
You think so?
I hope so. I'm going to
here's my problem with lawsuits from personal experience. When I was a young kid, he or she with the most money
wins. So flee to Canada or Mexico. They won't extradite you for that shit. You can never come back in, but you'll be all right. I will leave you with this, Dustin.
I'm not done yet.
I'm cutting you off like you do me. Did you know that the line on a check when you sign it is actually a sentence of words?
No way.
Swear to God.
No
Every
way.
check known to man, when you sign that line, if you put if you look under it it's a sentence. So when they say sign the dotted line, that's what you're signing your life away to. There's a whole sentence in there. I can't read it that small. I swear. There's a phrase.
Is this part of your Aliens and Netflix that you
Yes,
watch?
but it's true because I took a magnifying glass to a check, and where you sign your line, when you sign your name on the line, that's not a solid line. It's a sentence, and in that sentence is why something happened. So you're welcome.
All right.
Go home and check.
Why are you still writing checks?
Because I can bounce them, and it's easier for fraud. But now I don't want to get arrested now. But it's easier to kite checks like that.
Okay.
You didn't know that?
No.
I guarantee you, more than 3, less than 100 people are going to go look at a check right now and be like, holy shit, he's right. You're going to go do it.
Yeah, I probably will. All right, let's talk about the last part, and then we'll find a way to wrap this thing up.
Okay.
All right.
It's not getting fun interrupted, huh? You lose your train of thought, don't know what you're going to say? Welcome to the club.
Trade secrets. That's what I want to talk about, trade secrets.
Okay.
All right. Again, I'm not a professional attorney. I've never studied the law. So this is a layperson, right? But I do know mortgages really well. Mm-hmm. I know the mortgage industry. I know branches. I know loan officers. I know production, sales. I'm pretty good at that, right? And I know how the sausage is made, et cetera.
Right.
If one company wants to sue another company over trade secrets, okay, this is where I get confused. Normally, in a situation like this, what's the trade secret? Is it the past client database that I just debunked? Because there's no secret for who those clients are, how to get a hold of them, etc. Is the trade secret the list of referral sources that feed into the mortgage company? Because that too ain't no secret. I can pull the data through MMI, through Redder, through Model Match, through CoreLogic, through Big Purple Dot. That's all there. So then where's the trade secret? Well, so-and-so shared their P&L with the new company. I was like, okay, so you had a divisional, a regional, a branch, whatever, shared their profit and loss statement with the new employer. Well, let's unpeel that real quick. Let's dial it back. First, you ask yourself why. Right? Why? Why would someone want to do that? Why would someone want that information? There's only one reason why. The only reason why, it was a way for the new company to verify the data that they either saw online or what was being told to them by their future employee. Mm-hmm. It's no different than, John, me saying to you, hey, send me your most recent W-2 and your most recent pay stub because I want to verify that you told me you're working X amount of hours, making X in overtime, earning Y per year. I need to, before I make this comp agreement and this comp package to you, I need to verify the information, right? Is that also a trade secret when I log in and I get a copy of my W-2 or my pay stub?
There's a secret, the login password.
No, but it's not. So then it's like, well, no, but there was other confidential information on that particular document. Okay, I'm like, confidential? Like what is on a typical P&L? Like, I mean, it's information someone could have shared verbally, and it's just verifying typically, like, I don't know, things like number of units, amount of volume, how much revenue came in, how much in pricing exceptions were there, what their overhead was in terms of processors and LOAs and benefits. I mean, there's really nothing there that is a secret. There's nothing there that, in my experience, could not be pro forma'd out and replicated because they're pretty much all rules of thumb.
Reverse engineer it.
Yes. Like, I mean, we all use the same vendors for credit, the same vendors for loan origination software, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the better part. When you talk about a trade secret, we had Desmond P. Smith on the show. Yep. And Desmond loves asking mortgage professionals, like, when do you make money on a loan? And the only answer, according to Desmond, is when the loan sells. Like, when you sell that loan is when you make money. It's not when you originate. It's not when you fund it. It's when you actually sell it. Well, I haven't worked for every mortgage company in America. I've only worked for like 5 my whole career. Mm-hmm. And I think of the 5 I worked for, only like 3 of them are like still around. Mm-hmm. But my understanding from talking to my friends in the industry is that most of our P&Ls look the same. So on a profit and loss statement, because it's back in the day, it was pretty common for someone to want to send you theirs, right? It'd be common for you to say, hey, Dio, I want to come work for you. I'm going to send this over to you. Take a look at it, right? What are they doing? They're shopping. Mm-hmm. They are shopping for a new employer. They've already admitted that they are unhappy where they're at. Mm-hmm. They are out talking to other employers, whether it's 3 or whether it's 13. I mean, I talked to 11, right? My buddy Chris Fleming, who just onboarded the lower, talked to 22 before he chose lower. You know, like, people are out shopping because they've made the decision that their current home's not their forever home. And back in the day, it was common for someone to send something like their profit and loss statement. And then these companies who sue each other get their panties in a wad and their feelings hurt, and then they want to claim trade secrets. And I'm just trying to think of the P&Ls that I've seen throughout my career, where was a trade secret on there? Because nowhere on a P&L that I've seen that's given to branch managers or regionals does it show me the mortgage company's cost of funds. Mortgage companies raise funds typically through a line of credit that they get from multiple lending sources, right? So it's called a warehouse line. Now, how much the company is being charged for that warehouse line and what their pair-off fees would be, or the contracts that were negotiated between the company and their warehouse lenders, I could see where that would be a trade secret, right? That's like, hey, wait a minute. I may get my warehouse money cheaper than someone else. I may have a shorter haircut than they do. I may have more aggressive, meaning less restrictive covenants with my warehouse lender. And if I let that get out to other people, I'm going to lose my competitive advantage. You know what? If that information was on a P&L, I'd be like, check mark to the company who's pissed off and wanting to sue, because, yeah, that should have never been shared. But you know what? It's not. So then I stop and think and say, okay, how much money is the company actually making on these loans? The answer is, John, nobody knows. LOs don't know. Branch managers don't know. Divisionals don't know. It's not like the mortgage industry is so freaking transparent, and most of the companies are not public, that you actually know. What you know is how much they're giving you, right? I know if I fund a loan that my company is going to give me 200 basis points on a conventional loan and 300 basis points on a government loan, right? Because maybe that's my agreement. What I don't know is how much are they making on top of that, right? I do not know that. Now, if I knew that and that was reflective of a P&L and I shared that with somebody else, they may say that's a trade secret because no one was supposed to know that. But I know what they pay me because I negotiated that with my employer. Like, I want you to pay my branch or pay my loan officers this and this. And that gets pushed down. Don't know how it's a trade secret. I know it. I share it with my LOs. I'm going to share it with somebody else because that's the model that I'm accustomed to. And then here's things I also don't know. Where's that loan being delivered in the secondary market? Like, I don't know if they're going to be delivering that loan to Flagstar or to PennyMac
or to New
or
Res.
to Ameripres or New Res. Like, yeah, I don't know that, right? Because they ultimately control that. Like, they don't include me on that decision because they have an entire department that handles that. The secondary department handles that loan delivery, and then my company is typically hedging all of their loan locks with TBAs, right? It's a strategy. It's a strategy to try to lock in your profits. You don't want to make a ton of money in your hedge. You don't want to lose any money in your hedge. But you know what I don't know? Our hedging strategy. Don't know it. Not shared with me, right? I don't know if they're picking up 8 basis points or losing 3 basis points on their hedge. If I knew that and I knew the strategy and that strategy was proprietary and I shared it, that's a trade secret. But right now, the only 3 trade secrets I can see is anything I have contractually negotiated with my warehouse lender, how much actual revenue the company is generating on that loan, who and how those loans are truly being delivered in the secondary market, how we are hedging our secondary, hedging our locks, and at the end of the day, I don't get to see how much actual revenue was earned when that loan was sold, right? Just like Desmond teaches, you make money when the loan sells. When that loan was sold, I don't get to see any of that if I am a loan officer, a branch manager, a regional, or a divisional. Now, I can't make a blanket statement because I don't know how all 500 mortgage companies or 5,000 mortgage companies operate. But the little bit that I do know, based on what I've been exposed to, anything that I would deem as a subject matter expert in mortgage as a trade secret, it doesn't show up on the P&Ls that these mortgage companies give to their divisionals, their area managers, or their branch managers. So for one company to get pissed off at another company and claim trade secrets, I feel like you're a 2-year-old throwing a temper tantrum. And that's probably all I have to say about that, John.
That's fascinating shit, Dustin, I swear.
When did you tune me out? At what point?
After I stopped talking.
Okay. You made it that far.
I did. I mean, it is interesting, but this just goes to show you that humanity is just filled with cucks who have nothing else better to do but sue each other to make themselves feel better.
Yeah, and look, I would love for somebody to maybe go on YouTube and give me the other perspective, but I don't want it rudely done. Please. We don't need to get into a volleyball match.
No, I want people to take the video of you talking about this so then they can make a reactionary video about what you said, getting all pissy, and then that in turn makes us go viral.
Okay. I mean, hey, whatever works, I'm all for it. But like, my point was this. I can see strategically, if I'm a company owner or a CEO, where maybe you give 0 fucks and you give no shits.
That would be the way I run my business.
And you don't care about the humans involved.
I do care about people, kind of.
You don't care about the humans involved, and you're looking out for numero uno.
That's right. That's
the company first.
Right.
Stakeholder second.
Correct.
And you have to punish these men and women who are all they're trying to do is better their lives, better the lives of their family, move on because they have decided that your platform is no longer the right platform for them. So therefore, you're going to throw a temper tantrum and just wreck the lives of so many involved with your threats, with your lawsuits, all because you're trying to prevent more people from leaving. I think that's why they do it. They want to prevent more people from leaving. But it's like, what gets more? Is it the carrot or the stick? Right? I mean, how about we, like, is it honey? Like, we want to attract people? Or are we using spice here to shoo them away? So it's just crazy. I'm sure there's a strategy behind it. It's just unfortunate, and I think highly, highly misguided. And I don't think any of these attorneys want to actually see it go to trial. And I think they scared the bejesus out of both sides not to let it go to trial. Because if you let it go to trial, you now have a study case. You now have precedent, at which point nobody wants to be on the wrong side of the precedent that would set. But I would love to see something go to trial. I would love to see this actually ruled upon a jury of our peers, because I think for the most part, these lawsuits are BS.
I'm suing TLOP for fringe of breachment.
You're going to sue yourself?
Can I for money?
Negative, Ghost
How
Rider.
do you know?
Negative.
I can sue TLOP as an...
I'm going to tell you this right now. I have two awesome attorneys. Like Burn Foreman in Orlando, Florida. Shout out to Ty Roofner.
Whoa, we already did our sponsorship. They got to start paying for that shit.
Okay. I was pretty fired up about something one time. Mm-hmm. And I was going
I'm ready
for the jugular.
I'm ready to sue.
And they literally said to me, like, what do you want? And I told them what I wanted.
I want them to thank me and kiss the ring. Bend the knee, Targaryen.
At the end of the day, here's what they said. We'll be ready, but let's just sit back, go on with our lives. They said it's way cheaper. It's way less disruptive. And sometimes it's just not worth it. Be the bigger person.
An attorney said
let them. That's why I shouted them out. Let them get the last word. And if we need to, we'll go to war. Yeah. They're like, look, we love to go to trial. We love to fight. Like, that's what we live for. Like, but man, this ain't worth it. I think so many times it's just not worth it. And I hope that more companies start to seek that, you know what? This took 5 years. We dropped this much money to either defend ourselves or this much money to sue somebody.
All for a piece of paper that says dismissed, settled.
Yeah, for what? Like, for what? Was this worth it? And that's what they're going to have to determine. And they may say,
yes.
No, but yes. No, it wasn't worth the 5 years. It wasn't worth the stress. It wasn't worth the money. But at the time, we felt like we needed to do this because we were afraid there was going to be a snowball effect. And if these two leaders left and their people followed them, what's to say that 3 more leaders don't leave and then their people don't follow them? So we had to do something spiteful, hurtful, disruptive, expensive in order to save the company. Maybe that's how they justified, John. I don't know, but at the end of the day, y'all got today's episode because my ass was supposed to be on a witness stand, and they denied me that opportunity, and I was so excited to do it.
High off drugs when he showed up, and they said he can't testify.
I was so excited to do it, but they didn't let me do it. So therefore, this episode, JC, if people want to find us, what's a good place to find us?
Just go to the website, tloponline.com. That's where you can find everything from coaching inquiries to sponsorship opportunities, and that's where you can sign up for Dustin's free newsletter. Did all that in 13 seconds.
First name Dustin, last name Owen. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Follow us at the Loan Officer Podcast on Instagram. And make sure you're sharing this content with your friends, your colleagues, and anyone else that you think would benefit. And while you're at it, slide over to our YouTube channel. It's the Loan Officer Podcast, a.k.a. TLOP. Go to our YouTube channel and click subscribe. He's John Coleman. I'm Dustin Owen. That's all the time we have for you today. But we do look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Or if you're going to be in Iowa, Texas, Michigan, know that we're on our way to come spend time with you.
I'll see you in court.
Take care. Peace.